Making headlines tonight, authorities working on new programs to rehabilitate prisoners. The World Bank told to follow the IMF in responding to the pleas of small island developing states. Tour operators remain optimistic about the upcoming tourist season. And in sports, Pakistan upset New Zealand to book the first spot in the T20 World Cup final.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
A pleasant good night to you. I'm Shane Seeley. Thank you for joining us. Thousands of Barbadians should start receiving their income tax refunds as we approach the Independence and Yuletide seasons. The manager for communication and public relations at the Barbados Revenue Authority, Carolyn Williams-Gale, says the BRA started distributing the refunds for the income year 2021. Those entitled to refunds are, however, being reminded physical checks have been discontinued to make way for a new system to digitally transfer the tax refunds.
We have completed the processing of over $19 million in personal income tax refunds for the income year 2021. Over 27,000 eligible taxpayers will receive refund payments. In relation to the disbursement process, refunds will be made electronically as we phase out the issuance of checks for all current refunds. So persons are reminded to expect their refunds electronically via bank transfer.
In other news tonight, the establishment of a halfway house is among initiatives being looked at to rehabilitate prisoners here in Barbados. The Home Affairs Minister Wilfred Abrams has also revealed plans to provide more opportunities for training and advancement of prison officers. He made the comments at the Barbados Prison Service medal ceremony at Dodds Prison. Ryan Broom has more.
In an address that touched a wide range of areas, Minister Abrams said it was important to let prison officers know that government values and appreciates their service and dedication. He says this was especially so when officers had to navigate COVID-19 outbreaks at the prison at the height of the pandemic. Minister Abrams also says government is aware of some concerns expressed by prison officers about working conditions, and those are being dealt with speedily. He says where there are any challenges in addressing such issues, prison officers will be notified.
We're addressing those as quickly as we can. I ask the PS to please let us do what we can within this budget. Our estimates for next year are going to reflect addressing as many of those issues that were raised or came to our knowledge as we possibly can.
The minister adds that government is committed not only to improving the quality of training they receive, but also to ensure that there is equal opportunity for advancement for officers within the ranks of the system. He also called on Acting Superintendent of Prisons, DeCarlo Payne, to ensure there is a procedure for officers to have their concerns acknowledged and addressed and to reward those who do well.
I want all of you to reach your potential. I want all of you to have every training opportunity that can possibly apply to you. I want all of you, each one of you, to have the opportunity to advance as far as your skill set and your capabilities will take you. And I will push for it. But equally, anything happens in the prison that embarrasses the prison and compromises the security of our country, then I have no tolerance for that.
Going forward, a greater emphasis, he says, will be placed on rehabilitation and reform for prisoners, inclusive of a parole system in the shortest possible time, along with a kind of halfway house to help prisoners transition from a life of incarceration back into society.
When persons come out of prison, they go back into society. A lot of them are ill-equipped for it. You can try your best and tell people what to expect when they go out. But if I've been here for 20 years, then I should not know what a cell phone looks like. Right? I should not know what TikTok or Instagram looks like. I shouldn't. Right? People need to catch up and catch up very quickly. Programs need to be put in place to allow the prisoners a gradual reintroduction into society.
Meanwhile, prison officers were recognized for their outstanding service, as well as extended years of service during the ceremony. Ryan Broom, CBC News.
Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley says the IMF is listening to the pleas of small island developing states, but she stresses Barbados is continuing to press for the World Bank to follow suit. Ms. Motley was at the time addressing young people attending the COP27 Children and Youth Pavilion. The Prime Minister has shed light on strides made by the IMF, more recently introducing the Resilience and Sustainability Trust, which provides affordable long-term financing to help build resilience against economic risks associated with climate change. Ms. Motley says she does not want the country to be degraduated as it seeks to borrow money from the World Bank.
What I want is for you to recognize that the right to borrow should not only be based on historic per capita income, because the per capita measurement that they use is historic. It's last year or the year before. Now that's the equivalent of me going to the doctor, asking the doctor to take my blood pressure today, but then ask that it be valid a year from now to determine whether I'm going to get a stroke or not. Absolutely a waste of time, because it no longer tells you what my condition is. And what we're saying to the World Bank, what we're saying to the IMF, what we're saying, but predominantly the World Bank, because the IMF has gotten it, because they're using climate vulnerability as a consideration for who can draw from the Resilience and Sustainability Trust.
Ms. Motley also met with the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, to review the progress of the binational alliance in the context of COP27. During the meeting, Venezuela committed to the deepening of the relationship it maintains with the government and people of Barbados. The Venezuelan head of state, together with Ms. Motley, also took the opportunity to put on the table the contributions that can be made together to face the climate crisis. Meanwhile, we hear that Barbados is a step closer to having a direct air link with Rwanda. The news comes as the two countries sign a new air services agreement, which could soon see the island bridging the gap with the African continent by way of a partnership with Rwanda Air. Speaking on the sidelines of the COP27 summit in Egypt, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kerry Simmons, explains it will make it a whole lot easier to build out the economic relationship between Bridgetown and Kigali.
For me to get from Barbados to Rwanda would mean normally traveling 8 hours to get to England and then waiting around for an hour or two to catch a plane and another 8 hours to get to Rwanda. So that is about 18 hours, the better part of a day, in order to get here. If we could have Rwanda Air fly directly into Barbados, as I hope we soon will, then that would be a flight that would be about 6 or 7 hours. And I think you can see automatically how much easier it would make the business of commerce between ourselves.
Barbados has also signed a sports cooperation agreement with Rwanda and, along with Guyana, launched a transatlantic pharmaceutical initiative to develop and manufacture pharmaceuticals for global public health. The senior minister says this is just the beginning.
This country and my country are making significant strides in terms of building out new relationships for trade, new relationships for business. We are doing an excellent job, I think, in cooperation on climate change. In manufacturing, only yesterday we signed a major agreement which is of global proportions for cooperation in pharmaceutical production so that our peoples can have access to pharmaceutical products to save their lives.
Now, over in the UK, Barbados' tourism officials are showcasing the many experiences to be offered here on the island besides our beaches. This has been disclosed by the Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, Jens Therenhardt, as the island marketed its assets at the World Travel Market in London. The BTA head says coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, visitors are looking at connecting with locals in their communities.
We're seeing that there's great demand for Barbados as a destination, and a lot of the partners that we have are built on long-term relationships. So we're very confident what is happening in terms of airlift today and where we're growing into 23, especially 24. Sustainability and sustainable tourism is extremely important to us. Number one, our Prime Minister, the Honourable Mayor Motley, has given a narrative on the global stage of the importance of climate change and why that is especially important for small island development states. In terms of the tourism side, we've been featured in the new documentary sustainable tourism, where next? Only 1 of 10 destinations and only 1 of 2 destinations in the Caribbean.
Also at that meeting, Barbados' new Minister of Tourism and International Transport, Ian Gooding-Edgell, says there's renewed confidence in Destination Barbados. He says despite the challenges with fuel and staffing, airlines have been protecting the Barbados route. Mr. Gooding-Edgell says several meetings have been held with key players at the World Travel Market in London. The Tourism Minister also says tour operators are optimistic about the upcoming season. Mr. Gooding-Edgell made the comments live from London on CBC TV8's Morning Barbados.
In fact, I would say 98% of the persons who we met with have indicated that winter will not see any slowdowns whatsoever. We are pleased about that. One thing that is very difficult to predict at this time is summer travel, because of the late booking windows that we are encountering, and that's what the operators are telling us. But we remain confident that with the sales are likely to happen for the peak season in January, we will be in a better position to evaluate where we are going to be in the summer.
And Chairman of the BTMI, Shelley Williams, says there is interest in Barbados' culinary experience, which she describes as second to none.
It doesn't matter what you like to eat, we can offer it for you. If you want to be on the beach and with your flip-flops on, or you want to dress up nicely and go to the cliff, for instance. If you're vegan, you can go to Baja, or you can go to Local and Co. If you want to have any experience, we offer even fast food. So what we are hearing from our partners is that those culinary offerings from Barbados is second to none, and they are very interested in coming to Barbados for those experiences.
Coming up on Newsnight, another shooting in a St. Michael community. We'll give you the details to that story and more after the break. One man is dead and another injured after yet another shootout in St. Michael last night. The Barbados Police Service confirmed reports of gunfire in My Lord's Hill after receiving a telephone call to the operations control room at 13 minutes to 7. Now, police say one man received an injury to the mouth and the other the leg and abdomen. Police say the 2 men were transported by a private motor vehicle for medical attention. However, 39-year-old Odwin Ryan Granham of Licorice Village, My Lord's Hill, St. Michael, passed away after receiving emergency surgery. Meanwhile, the management of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital has been dismissing rumors of a shooting there yesterday. Executive Chairman Juliet Bino-Sutherland says they have been working with members of the Barbados Police Service to maintain security at the hospital.
We did have police action to address what was thought to be a suspicious vehicle on the QEH compound, and this did result in fear and panic among A&E staff and patients. We do believe that rumors of shootings at the QEH have started there. The police on the scene did their best to reassure our staff and patients, and we continue to monitor security at the premises very carefully in collaboration with the Barbados Police Service.
Although a slim margin was recorded, it appears the new Warrenston National Stadium route is favored over the old route. This is according to a survey released by the National Cultural Foundation on the findings of an independent online survey launched in September. According to the survey, the new route was favored in all 3 categories polled: masqueraders, spectators and vendors. The Grand Kadooment Sweet Lime and After Party was also a hit, with the majority of respondents calling for its return next year. The Minister in the Prime Minister's Office with responsibility for culture, Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight, thanked all who participated in the survey, saying it offered invaluable input that will help to shape the way forward. The most anticipated Christmas event in Barbados, Carols by Candlelight, returns to Illawarra Court this year. Host, the Rotary Club of Barbados, has expressed its delight in staging the event over 25 years. Funds raised have enabled the charity to help many in need. Carols by Candlelight is set for Sunday, December 11th. The president-elect of the Rotary Club, Ermaine Deroe, has promised an exciting lineup.
To wow and entertain in the true spirit of Christmas.
At the onset, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to all of our sponsors for this year's event. The importance of our corporate sponsors who continue to show confidence in us and pledge their support cannot be overstated. This year, we are delighted to have 3 platinum sponsors: Surgical Life, Carter's, and First Citizens Bank. Thank you.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
In business tonight, there is a suggestion Labour legislation here in Barbados needs to be updated. The Minister of Labour, Colin Jordan, expressed the view at a Barbados Employers Confederations forum at the Sandals Royal Resort. He told the audience a number of wide-ranging issues need attention.
There is a power imbalance. I don't think anybody can deny that. There is a power imbalance between a worker and an employing organization. I've accepted that, and I say here, as I've said to, I think I said to Herma before, but as I say to everybody, the only reason for government and the only reason for laws is to make sure that there is some equity, not necessarily equality, but some equity brought to power relations.
The Labour Minister says there is much work to be done, but it takes time. Now, there is major interest among young people in rabbit rearing. Head of the Barbados Ruminants and Rabbit Rearing Society, Wayne Smith, made the comment at the start of a 6-week training program. It's being held in association with the Food and Agricultural Organization, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, and the Central Fish Processors Association at the Ministry of Agriculture in Graham Hall Christ Church. Mr. Smith says the workshop is a sequel to the recently held employability workshop, and the response is encouraging.
They're facilitating all of the training. I think that they also provide the trainees with the necessary stipend to keep them going throughout the process. But apart from the rabbit rearing, they would have done social skills and the type of training that you would need to take with you into the business place, any business place that you're going to, how to interact with persons, how to perhaps write basic reports, the basics.
Mr. Smith says the aim of the exercise is to create a cluster of young farmers for the marketplace. Back over to Amory now in the sports studio. Some more cricket action for you. This time we focus on the Masters.
Yes, and right here at home as well, because West Indies Masters are into the final of the inaugural Big Man Cricket Over 50s Caribbean Cup after defeating England Masters in today's semi-finals at Foursquare. The match was reduced to 30 overs aside due to a wet outfield after this morning's rain delayed the start by 75 minutes. And the visitors sent into bat were bowled out for 98 off the final delivery. Putting England Masters in proved a wise choice for the West Indies Masters as they immediately started to make inroads into their innings when Giles Ecclestone was caught for 7 off the bowling of Sudesh Danaram to make the score 1 for 23. 2 runs were added before wicket number 2 was claimed. Richard Trotman caught by Danaram for 1. The bowler William Lashley is now 25 for 2. And it will soon be for 3 as David Snellgrove found himself out of the crease when the throw-in came to be run out for 16. England in early hot water on 27 for 3. That brought James Williams to the crease and he delivered the only 4 of the innings, nicely timed and placed. And just as he was settling in at the crease, he was handed his walking papers. Ball by Anthony Morris. Williams contributing 17, the score now 55 for 4. And things went downhill from here. Now it looks like a misfield. Well, it was, but when it was thrown back to the keeper, Jason Finch was left scrambling way out to be run out for 4. The 5th wicket is claimed with 62 runs on the board. Wicket number 6 was that of Jonathan Whelan, who was trying to steady the ship before he was given LBW for 19. Zaman Amin, the bowler. West Indies Masters in the driver's seat at this stage. More trouble for the English when Sean Cooper is given LBW to Amin. It's now 81 for 7. Then Stephen Thompson is given LBW to Dinaram. not to please, but takes a gentleman's route and walks. It's now 90 for 8. Not a single run was added, but a wicket was claimed again. Robert Nelson, caught by wicketkeeper Anthony Sahadeo, is now 90 for 9. And then what was an anticlimactic finish as Chirag Desai is run out on the final ball as England put 91 runs on the board. West Indies Masters in reply got home easily, posting 99 for a 2 off 23.3 overs to win by 8 wickets. Ishwar Miraj batted through the reply to top score with 45 not out. That included 3 4s and 2 6s, while Brian Johnson made 19 and William Lashley 15 not out. The West Indies Masters will take on USA Masters in the final on Friday at Kensington Oval. The other semi today between the USA and the UAE was abandoned due to rain. So the USA advanced to the final by virtue of being the zone winners.
And that's our time for CBC NewsNight. I'm Shane Seeley. Good night.
Thanks for visiting us. To get more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.